Alright, just took a little break there to clear the card on the camera, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I've got it all set up here so I can cut this side. Now, it'll easily cut that side, okay? Just go back there. Now, the challenge here is that the best option here would be to cut this side at the same time. But as you can see, I'm really not very close there. So, what I'm going to do is, I never tightened it down yet anyway. Okay, so I'm going to turn this. This is one of the advantages of a round column mill. There's several distinct disadvantages, but there's certainly a few advantages. So let me, I don't want to be hard up against the stops there, so let me buy myself a little room there. Do that. Alright, I like that. Okay, now, plus two, I can, I want to make sure I can still easily get to the end there. Yeah, I got plenty of, so, let me tighten the head down. And now I can machine both sides, and they'll both be perfectly parallel. So I think we'll do some of that. All right, let's. I changed the end mill out. I want to go down past the break in the curve there, basically, and then that way I can get this nice big flat section there. I don't need to take a great deal off. It'll probably end up being a little bit more because of yeah, probably 20 thousandths maybe. Yeah, was that nice and loud? Okay, let's fire it up here. Too bad. Goes down about 3/4 of an inch. I think I'll go in just a hair more. Then basically I'm going to go to the other side and do it too while I kick the camera around. Alright, of course had I cut this side first, I would have set the depth of how far down I cut on the other side the same. So now I have it trimmed way down on the back side. And this side I was limited by the jaws. So, oh well. So we're just going to touch off here and skim across here and clean this side up. Now, I think you can see there. Yeah. I'm going to have to cut a little deeper there. I'm not even touching there yet. So, back at it again. I don't need it all completely gone. I'm not too worried about it having it completely gone, but I definitely want a little bit more gone than that. Okay, I think that's close enough. I'm going to take it out and see. Now I can turn this thing over and clamp on that, and then square up some other edges and stuff like that. Yeah, that ought to work for now, I think. I didn't hit the start button, and I just explained all that for nothing. Went to shut it off and it turned on. Anyway, basically I've got it set up like this. The parallels under here have the machine surface underneath. Now I'm going to cut the tops here so that they're parallel to that. I don't have to cut them any specific amount or whatever. I just want them even, and I want them parallel with the bottom because I'm doing this. I don't need them. I don't have any reason for doing that right now other than the fact that it's in the mill. I don't want to have to take this thing apart later, and I can see where that might be advantageous later. Next up, then I got to see about how to figure out how to cut these sides and stuff like that. So we'll see what happens. All right, so here we just ran into the downside of the round column mill. I cut this side the way it was set up and that stuff, but now I can't get far enough to come back over here. Okay, so now I need to loosen the head bolts back up and rotate it back over to where it'll reach. I'm not going up and down. It should stay fairly accurate height-wise as I rotate it, but I will still want to come back and do just a very light skim on that, and then cut this one, and then I'll know they're both the same. But kind of annoying. If I had a bigger mill, you know, wouldn't have been a problem, but I don't really have the shop space for a bigger one. Yeah, this is where years of experience pays off in being a machinist. I, of course, do not have those years. It dawned on me as I was sitting there trying to figure out how I was going to cut the sides on the mill and stuff like that. I was like, holy crap, all I got to do is chuck the end mill into the chuck on the lathe, and I could have done all this cutting on here. So now I'm basically setting it back up, squaring everything back up and that stuff so that I can, because this was turned 90 degrees. So basically I'm using a square, and I can set that and tighten these up. I think I might need a need to come in with a ratchet on the other side there, though. Yeah, so that's nice and square. Yeah, I think I'll make a couple other tweaks. I'll tighten the rest of that up and come back when the setup's ready to go. Okay, we're still working on the setup here to be able to cut it with the lathe. So I put the parallel in here. This is a 1, 2, 3 block. It's precision ground and everything. I put that in there because I'm pushing that block up, and I didn't want it to, as I showed before, the radius in the corner here, the block wouldn't have sat perfectly in there. So by putting the parallel in here, I move it away from that radius. Now what I can do is that's precision ground. This is precision ground. That, you know, that is against this tight. I put the rod in here, even though I haven't finished with the nuts and everything. That's holding it and clamping it. So then basically, I can come in here with my 45-degree angle and work it around until I get it at exactly 45 degrees. Ooh. I don't know why that's running at an angle there, unless that block is not perfectly flat. It's flat. Anyway, that's going to be the gist of it. There is getting this in here and setting that up, and that's really freaking close right there. So I'm gonna double check that, lock everything down, and come back when I'm I think when I'm ready to start cutting. All right, after all that milling on here and everything like that to get it all square, blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff, when it dawned on me that I could just cut it in the lathe, I started to do that. I got everything squared up and that stuff, and I did just a very fine line all the way down. And then I thought, oh, I can't undo that. I looked around real quick for a minute and found that chunk of aluminum and cut it down to size, milled the side flat, held it up against here, and put the transfer punches through the two holes that were already existing back there, marked the holes, drilled them, tapped them, and so now all I have to do is do the scribe line. You know, so there it is, just bolted on the backside there, and I used smaller screws than I could have. I used M6 instead of M8 because that gives me a little wiggle room to be able to reposition that. I could mill this edge down a little bit more, the one that goes down the side here, and then, you know, shift that thing around a little bit. But once it's locked in like this, and I you know, mill the V down it, I think it'll be good to go. And that way I can always take it off and get that space back and all that kind of stuff. So I think I'm going to like that. I'm going to scribe the line and see if I can't cut the V and call it a day, because I've wasted, I guess it hasn't been wasted, but I spent the entire day working on this darn thing and not even getting to the arms. So feels like a waste. All right, we'll see whether this works or not. Camera's propped kind of precariously on a tiny tripod, so, and I'm up on a stool so I can look down in here. And basically what I have to do in order to get this to cut correctly, I need to, for every thousandth I go in, okay, that's just going to go straight in here. I need to go a thousandths in this way as well. So if I go in 10, I got to go in 10 this way in order to keep it centered on the line. So let's see if I can remember to do that. Oh, man. I just have the initial cursory line there to make sure I was on the scribe mark from the caliper, just like I did on the other base. Yeah, hopefully that makes it to the end there. Kick this RPM up a little bit. This is aluminum, so that'll be just fine. All right, here we go. pretty sure you can see that. Something moved. Something moved. Good thing I didn't do it in the jaw itself, huh? So I don't know if yeah, the aluminum looks like it's mounted on there. Okay. Wow. Okay, I'm calling it quits for the day. Aside from the frustration, I'm just flat beat.